Hello and welcome to our fourth video tutorial for wings. This time we're going to look at how you're actually going to make your shoes. On my example Usain Bolt shoes, you'll see that I've got a pretty realistic shoe shape. So I'll talk you through how I got that shape and how I did some of the different features. So back here we've got an empty document. The first thing I recommend doing is doing the sole, and to start that we're going to draw just a straight guideline. So now along that guideline we're going to draw one circle and then a second circle, and now some straight lines, or curved if you're feeling adventurous, between them. Something we haven't done so far is use the eraser. You can do this to get rid of different lines, and that gives us the sole of the shoe. Next thing that we should do is set up a flat work plane, just like we did in the first lesson. So the middle and then side to side, double click, and now we're going to draw a guideline for how we want the shape of the shoe to go from side on. So I might get it to start flat, but then go into a curve, and then up higher to where it's going to start for the laces, a flat bit for the top, and then switch back to a bit of a curve there. Okay, we're going to delete our work plane, right clicking and deleting it, and we're going to set up another one. If it lets us. There it goes, snapping on the top here, and we're going to do it from the middle of there to there, and that is where the ankle is going to go in. We can now delete this work plane. The last thing you might like to do is to just add some more guidelines, and we can snap to the point that we've already got. So I'll do a gentle little curve for how I want the heel to connect up on both sides. Oh, that one didn't quite work out. That's probably close enough. You can have as many guidelines as you want, and the more that you add, the more detail your shoe will have. Okay, now we're going to go up to our skinning tool, and we're going to select all of these different edges. Okay, that should be all of them. We'll now hit the tick, and you can see that it's generating a curved shoe. Now if we want at this stage, if we're unhappy, we can click the door to exit and go back and fiddle with some of our lines. We can also try some of these different buttons here to see if we can get it to smooth out and things like that. So we'll say that we're happy with this one for now. Okay, and we have our shoe. If we'd like to make the sole a little bit thicker, we should still have a surface on the bottom here. Just got to delete the center line to join that up as one. And now we can make the sole a little bit thicker. And it's starting to look more and more like a shoe. I probably could have done a bit of a nicer job with these guide curves at the start, but that's okay. Tool we haven't looked at yet is the offset tool. which is up here, and this is how I set up the tread on the base of the shoe. So simply click it, click on a line somewhere, like so, and then it will let you draw a line following that same shape, just further in. So I'll set up a series of these here. Okay, that now gives us different levels where we could add tread like that. So that's the gist of how I set up the tread underneath. This top bit being hollow is just a matter of deleting those, and it should hollow out for you. Double click to go inside the group, and then we can do our draw on surface tools and set up some lines and things like that to segment this into different colors. Just like that. So now this one can be segmented to divide this surface into the different bits to color, like in the Usain Bolt shoe. Now on the base we use the 3D text, just like we did with our name. And the main part of this shoe, which gives it its look, is making sure to get that very first set of guidelines right before we come up and do the skin. Now when you're doing your shoe, there's one other trick that SketchUp's really good for that we haven't looked at yet, and that's the 3D warehouse. So if we go up to File, 3D warehouse, get models, it'll come up with a window like this. Now the example PowerPoint we showed you had some pretty interesting and far out shoes. We don't expect you to make every little thing on it. Say you wanted a flower on your shoe because it suits the person. We'll search for rose here, and you can see roses are coming up, and we can click download model. Yes, load it directly into our SketchUp model. And it's a little bit small here, or perhaps my shoe's a little bit too big. But either way, we'll use the scale to get our rose to be a decent size. We might even press 10 here to make it 10 times bigger. That's a little bit too big. 8, enter, maybe 6, enter. Now just like anything else, we can select this, and then we can rotate it into position, make it part of our model. So you might have a shoe with whatever you'd like to import added on to add some complexity. Now a word here about importing things. There are shoes in the 3D warehouse, and it will be obvious instantly to us when we go to mark your shoe whether you've built it yourself or whether you've bought it in from the 3D warehouse. So make sure that you model your actual shoe yourself, and then you can add decorations from the 3D warehouse. That won't be a problem at all. So download the program at home, work hard in class, do a shoe each. Once you set up your basic one, you might like to save a copy of the file and give it to the other person to work on their computer, and they'll probably do something like selecting it and mirroring the shoe to flip it around the other way, and then you'll have the left and the right between you. So good luck and have fun modeling your famous person's shoe.